What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we need to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's happening today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So currently it is down 4.18%, a fair amount of volume. So 16.07 million shares have been traded for the first about 2 hours of the trading day. 43 is the average. No news, no SEC filings from SoFi as anticipated, but the technicals are breaking down. So today is a combination of two things. One of which is profit taking, because a lot of stocks have ran up. It's not profit taking as a result of, I guess, 2023 trading, because today is too late to count any trading towards that. But again, it's just because a lot of stocks, not necessarily just SoFi, we're kind of running out of steam. And I did say that in yesterday's video, the fact that it did struggle to get above this R2, so the 1028. So I have been really highlighting a lot of the strong support and resistance points that you needed to know. Even last week, I said to a T that I do not feel that SoFi has enough to get above that 1028. And conveniently, that's what it did struggle with yesterday. It attempted to try and get above that today, so the high was 1030, but once again, not really enough there for it to stay above this R2. So it is trending down. This R1 didn't really hold, so the 1006, neither did that $10 psychological support. So most likely it is going to be continuing to trend down up until this pivot point of $9.70, which once again, even if you look at this though, stochastic is at 89, and that is considered very overbought. So today's pullback is kind of justified. It's still fairly good. One thing that you want to watch for is for it to not break below $9.31, because if it does, then that does confirm a larger breakdown of the technicals, and it is going to probably break below that $9 if that does occur. But then again, I'm not financial advised. You guys always do your own due diligence. So especially when it comes down to this week and majority of next week, it's just going to be technicals. Technicals are what drives SoFi. And even though there's a lot of good things coming out behind the scenes to really justify buying SoFi, it's just overdone right now. So with that said, I just wanted to play one quick minute of this video, and it's talking on banks and how they are set to outperform the broader market in 2024. So once again, I'm just going to play this, then go over some of the additional data points, including what shorts are doing.
And our next guest thinks it's just the start for the group, saying investors should go overweight in 2024. 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 is head of U.S. Bank Equity Strategy at RBC Capital Markets. Gerard, welcome. Good to have you with us. Who'd have thunk that the financials would be doing as well as they have been doing, given the fact that it was just 9 months ago that we had major failures of a couple of mid-level banks?
Very true, Tyler. And when you take a look at what happened back in the spring, it was very, very idiosyncratic. And on top of that, there was no contagion. And the reason there was no contagion was the Fed moved very aggressively, which was good, of course, but also those banks' business models were unique to them. But to your point, now that we see the Fed might be at its terminal rate for Fed funds, and we may actually have a soft landing in 2024, these are two huge positives for the banks, especially when it comes to credit, because credit trumps interest rates. And if we have a good year for credit quality, which we think we will in a soft landing, that's a real positive for the bank stocks.
One of the things.
So yeah, obviously that is very, very true. And SoFi, their credit is like next level stuff. So not only is SoFi's credit in every aspect of their business growing at a faster rate than any of the other banks, but they are very selective. So FICO score and just higher quality customers, if that makes sense, that will help SoFi stand out even greater than a lot of these other brick and mortar banks. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Over and above that, talking on shorts. So right now, shorts are returning about 166,000 shares, 13.8% of the free float is being shorted, 123.36 million shares overall are being shorted, and cost to borrow average is 0.8. So very low. SoFi is not a squeeze play, as I always say, but the fact that they are returning on a red day shows that they feel that it's unjustified and potentially could continue to trend up. So similar to that video that I just mentioned, SoFi pulling back right now is healthy. It's good, but long term, like SoFi's growth is set in stone. So SoFi is going to be people are going to look back and wish that they bought more at these prices, because once it gets back to the $15 mark, then the momentum is going to continue to carry it higher and higher. But then again, what do I know? As I always say, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. Talking on options, with the market open, like I said, about 2 hours, $4.61 million in calls being purchased versus 1.09 million in puts. So kind of evenly divided based on the sentiment, so 50-50 for the most part. And of the call options that are being purchased, it is anticipated for it to be above 1050 by the end of next week. So people are assuming that there's going to be a consolidation today, which will give it a lot more strength going into next week for higher highs. So that's kind of the mentality of that. Looking at puts, it is anticipated to be sub 950, so more of a breakdown. Even going on some of the technicals, so clearly the puts are anticipating for that 970 not to hold, for it to trend down between this S1 and the pivot. So what's your thoughts? Do you think that SoFi is going to retrace back down to the 9s, or do you think it's more realistic that 1050 will be coming sooner rather than later? What's your thoughts on all of that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And give yourself a shout out. Did you buy today? Did you sell? What have you been doing with SoFi? And also, even though I did bring up options, I highly suggest in researching them. So if you do not know how to do options, just take a little bit of time. Maybe that could be the 2024 thing that you do learn is options, because they can be very, very beneficial by either selling puts, selling calls, buying calls. Those are typically the three that I like to do, especially on stocks that I do really, really like. So on SoFi, almost every single week, I do sell puts, because if it either gets below where my strike price is, I get to buy it at the price I want. Or I just vice versa, I just get to collect the premium. So it's a win-win for me, in my opinion. And I feel like SoFi is one of those stocks that you can do that with. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with all that said, hopefully everyone had an amazing 2023, and bigger and better things will be coming for 2024. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.